What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Matt Ryan podcast. Last week we did not have the Matt Ryan show, and that's my fault. I just could not get off of work, and I was so disappointed because we were doing so well
Yeah.
for this season at making sure we had a date set every Monday. Every Monday night we were going to record, and when I could not get my shift covered, the balls of me to text you that I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
There was a
Yeah,
lot of
it took
pressure
some.
there.
Not to mention, walking in this building with the same shirt on that is the reason we had to cancel last week. I
Yes,
mean, the
yeah.
balls on you to wear that today is it's
That's
beyond me.
yeah.
Meanwhile, I look like a freaking like I'm going to do
Going
some
golfing.
business casual. Yeah, I mean, what am I doing here? Just got off of work is the actual reason, but we're here. That's all that matters. We went for a month strong. We did well, missed a week, and now we're back. So didn't let
Yep.
it affect us.
It's just a reminder of how us wearing our work clothes right now. It's just a reminder of we need you guys to really put this podcast out there so we don't have to go to work anymore and
Yeah,
we can just do this. But yeah, we're back. NBA, college basketball. This is honestly, it's the week of Thanksgiving, which is great, but feast week with all the college hoops going on, arguably is one of the best weeks of the entire year. Easily a top 3 week. I know we have Thanksgiving, which is just absolutely beautiful, and you don't have just football; you also have college basketball on that day. But starting today with the college hoops, it's absolutely sensational.
it's been a
Very happy.
great first month of college hoops. The slate has been. I mean, every week there's a ranked matchup, top 10 ranked matchup every single week. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, I got my day started. Great game this afternoon. It was between Iowa State and St. John's, and
Mm,
Iowa State won by a point. It came down to the wire, and it was awesome. But you know what's great about this is, and obviously, a lot of people know this. I'm just preaching to the choir. These games, they just mean so much early on in the season because if you're a team that's unranked and you're able to go in, be the top 15 seed, and if you start to struggle during conference play, you can always have this on your resume. And if you're in that tight spot of the first four or first four out when the NCAA tournament selection committee starts to look at all that stuff, then, I mean, they really do go back and look at this stuff. So it's so early on in the season, but it's awesome because these games, obviously, they do mean a lot going into these tournaments.
they do, and the best part is now. Would I like to see the tournaments like the Maui actually mean something and have good teams back at the Maui Invitational?
Yeah, what
Yes.
is up with that? We used to be having like Duke and all those. I feel like
Well,
there was
then
always a blue blood.
ever since the Champions Classic, I don't think any of the Blue Bloods go out to Maui anymore. It's been very I don't want to say disappointing because there were some good games out there, but just
I want to
not.
say the last time Duke was in the Maui was when Zion was on the team because I feel like I have a memory of Zion dunking in that little Maui gym and it he looks like a giant in there because the court is so small. But no, no disrespect to the teams that are in the Maui right now, but we're not talking about good teams. Like there's good teams that are playing in the Maui. We're just talking about program program size and I guess the brand of the program.
And good for you. I mean, good for you. 18. That's the last
2018.
time Duke was in the
Yeah,
Maui. They played Gonzaga. That's a good matchup.
yeah. That's exactly. That was the matchup. That was the hype of the Maui tournament.
Number
Yeah,
one versus number three in the country. I mean, that's what people want to come see, and
yeah.
that's just not there anymore. I mean, this year it was NC State, Seton Hall, USC, Arizona State, and that's it. So
Well, it's and I don't know if I don't know how long they've been doing this, but this players era tournament that they have going on in Las Vegas, that's now the biggest tournament of the week. They get like 16 teams to play in it, and they have St. John's and a lot of these big time schools. Arizona, I think, is maybe playing in it. So it's kind of taken over the Maui and the Bahamas tournaments. There's a lot of good competition playing in it.
I mean, you pair that with the Champions Classic, and then you got teams that go to the Bahamas, and then you got. I mean, there's just too many tournaments within a side of.
No, not too many.
You're
Not too
right.
many.
You're right. That's on me.
Before we get into talking about NBA, I do want to let the fans know, and because we missed last week, we were behind on our Linsanity and Cardio Awards, so I do have to let you know the winners. So what we came up with, and me and Ryan agreed on the Linsanity pick, which pretty obvious,
Well,
even
can
middle of the
we
week.
can we go back a week prior because we left off last episode, the last one that
Yes, all right.
recorded.
Did I might have worded that wrong. Oh. Yes. Yes, you're
We
exactly
we had a
right.
big matchup on Monday, the day after we recorded, or Tuesday, whatever that day was,
We did.
of a Golden State Warriors versus Oklahoma City Thunder game that would determine the winner of the Linsanity Award from 2 weeks ago
Yes.
between AJ Mitchell and Will Richard. And if my brain recalls correctly, I believe AJ Mitchell got the better of that matchup.
Yeah, let me pull up the stat just real quick. I want to say I even think that Nick Richard started
Wow,
in
that's
that
not a.
game.
If that was his name, that'd be good, but it's not.
Or not Nick Richards. I've been watching too much
Yeah, what can you do?
um uh
Will Richard.
Florida boy, Will Richard. So I'm pretty sure he started that game for Golden
Sure did.
State.
Sure did. Put up 30 minutes and not great stats.
Do you remember
Unfortunately.
the exact date? How far are we going back? It was
I
a
mean, we're
Monday.
we're
Or
talking. It was
November 10th
Tuesday,
rings the bell.
Tuesday the 11th, I think.
Tuesday the 11th. And we couldn't have
And
we
it's
couldn't have picked
OKC
this
versus.
matchup any
It,
better because
oh my
they were
gosh.
facing off against each other.
Yeah, I do know that the
So,
Thunder got the better of the Warriors that night.
so Will not Nick Richard came off the bench actually. 22 minutes, 9 points, 3 of 6 from the field, 3 of 5 from downtown. It's
I
it,
mean, it's
it's
not a
not
terrible
a
game.
bad game
For a
off
guy
the
who's supposed to
bench,
be the 12th man of this team coming into the season,
but
not a bad game.
somebody who is in serious contentment for or competition for winning the award at the end of the year. Contentment competition meant
Yeah.
AJ Mitchell started. He started that game 17 points on 6 of 13 from the field. Also worked in 3 rebounds and a couple assists for the now 17-1 Oklahoma City Thunder. So
This is
AJ
17.
Mitchell is now officially a part of the Linsanity Award team. So now we move to next week, unless you have any final thoughts.
No, we'll go after it after.
So we got Dennis Jenkins won Linsanity of the week award last
Yep.
week, and
Yep.
that one was pretty easy. And what was so impressive about it is because I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the week, Cade Cunningham actually was out for a couple of games, so they needed somebody to really step up offensively. And Dennis Jenkins, 24-year-old from St. John's,
Well, now hold
uh,
on, because the November 5th, 7th, and 9th, there were 3 games played by the Pistons. He averaged 0 minutes, 5 minutes, 0 minutes. So 5 minutes over 3 games, and then he becomes a starter pretty much. So if you'd like to read over from November 10th through the 17th or 18th, depending on what we're counting the week as.
yeah, so first game on November 10th, overtime game against the Washington Wizards.
Yikes. We can talk about
Question:
them later.
Washington Wizards or the blue Duke Blue Devils in a matchup? Who you got?
I think the Wizards would win by about
Yeah, Wizards.
67
Wizards would,
points,
but
but they're pretty shit. The real question is the 20, what is it, 15 Sixers, or maybe it's 14, versus
this
the
Wizards team.
2025 Wizards team. That's the question it needs to be
It'd
asked.
go 7 games.
For sure. And I think everybody would be tuned in, unfortunately.
Be awesome. So November 10th in that overtime game, So the game before that they played the Brooklyn Nets, and the Brooklyn Nets are still a bottom five team in the NBA. He still only played 5 minutes in that game against the Brooklyn Nets. He played 34 minutes, 24 points, 8 rebounds. So maybe you think it's a fluke. It wasn't.
3 assists, 4 steals in that
Three
game.
assists, 4 steals. So everything, all around, great player. LeBron James, Dennis Jenkins. So a couple of days after that, on November 12th, they played the Chicago Bulls. He plays 40 minutes, 18 points, 12 assists with 4 rebounds and a couple of steals. So that's when he caught my eye because I specifically remember the Wizards game, and then he drops 18 and 12, and I'm like, we might have something here. And then the game that solidified it was in the performance against the Philadelphia 76ers. 19 points, 8 assists, 5 of 8 from downtown. I saw that stat line. I said, this is an easy pick. So Dennis Jenkins, welcome to the Insanity squad.
Yeah, I mean, you average, and I don't have the exact week averages, but I mean, you put up 24, 8, 3, and 4, 18, 4, 12 assists, 2 steals, and then you got 8 assists, 7 assists the next 3 nights. That's consistently being a playmaker while also shooting very good from the field. Now, the last 2 games he kind of fell off from three, but he finally started getting some tension, I would assume, after those first couple of games. So just
He
a
has been
real
he
un
has been so good that he is now a regular starter for them.
yeah.
Or
Is
one
Jaden
of
Ivey
kind of
back?
kind of mixing in. Well, Jaden Ivey's back, but the first game he came back was off the bench. So I
Classic.
don't know how long it'll last, but a Pistons team that's now 14-2. Cade Cunningham's been playing pretty solid. I mean that now they're adding a weapon like Jenkins if he can keep it up. So
Now,
things are.
do you know the backstory of Dennis Jenkins?
I do not. I do not.
So there's an iconic photo from the 2020. I guess this would be 2022, or maybe 2021. Don't quote me on it. Iona. Do you remember that team that Rick Pitino coached way back when before he went to
I
St.
do.
John's? So there was a guy by the name of Walter Clayton Jr. that played on that Iona team. Well, what people don't know is that his teammate was Dennis Jenkins, and those two together were the reason Iona went to the tournament that year and kind of made Rick Pitino a household name again. And now he went from that to playing in the G League last year for the Motor City, pretty much unknown, and then all of a sudden, just kind of sparked last week, and caught our eyes.
Yeah.
Well deserved of
Yeah.
a Linsanity award
Played
this
in
year.
7 games last year. 7 games, averaged 1 point. He's
Yeah,
averaging about 11 and a half points per game over his first 11 games this year. So,
that's what you want.
congratulations, Mr. Jenkins. Looking at our winners for the Lincena, I do have to challenge the bigs a little bit. Power forwards and centers need to step up. It's a lot of guards right now.
Mm.
Now, I will say the Dennis Jenkins Award is probably the most Jeremy Lin like week that we've had. Cedric
Yeah,
Howard was our first winner, but he's a rookie. So it's not like it came out of nowhere and he was a
and a
top
first
15
round pick. Yeah,
and he was a top 15 pick. Ryan Rollins, he was
he's a
it's not
second
like
rounder.
he was playing serviceable minutes, like good minutes for Milwaukee at the start of the year. It's not like Dennis Jenkins literally has kind of come out of nowhere. And then AJ Mitchell was a has been one of the main pieces since opening night off the bench for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So Dennis Jenkins has been probably the most Jeremy Lin like award that we've given out so far.
Now, if I were to ask you where he went to college prior to Iona, do you think you even know the name of the school I'm about to say?
100%.
Okay, so in 2019 and 2021, he went to the University of Pacific,
Oh, I was
and
wrong. I was going to say Boston Community College.
that was close because the next school was Odessa College. And if you asked me where that is or what that is, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Honestly,
Um,
can you look it up real quick and I'll give it a guess?
yeah.
Honestly,
Could you guess what their mascot is?
it's the obviously it's the Storm, the Honestly Storm
That would be close, and you'd be surprised that I can't find the college when I look up the
out of
names.
Maryland. The Honestly Storm out of Maryland.
Yeah, no, it is, from what I can tell, a junior college in Texas, and they are known as the Wranglers, of course.
Okay, okay, so
So,
close.
yeah. So he takes his talents from the University of Pacific, which everybody's known for out there in the West Coast, to Odessa. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Odessa? Odessa. To me, that's good enough. Then he goes to Iona, and then he transfers to St. John's. I believe he must have followed Rick Pitino out there, where he probably found some light to get to the G League. But what a
What it
story!
was, yeah, yeah. He's been everywhere. He's had to go through the grind, and now he's playing for the best team in the NBA, arguably.
Some would say.
Um, so yeah, let's now get into who won last week for the Cardio King. We came up with Jarris Walker. Jarris Walker has been coming off the bench for the Indiana Pacers. I want to say he's a 2-year player, but he just had a rough week. And now some of the point totals are not awful. It's really the shooting percentages. Like he had one game where he was perfect from the free throw line. I want to say he had like 9 free throws made in the game, but he had some awful. Do you have the stats pulled up in front of you? He
I
had
think I do. Yeah, go
he
ahead.
had an 0 for 10 game
He sure
one
did.
night, and the Pacers cannot afford with the way things are going for them. They can't afford to have somebody shooting 0 for 10 from the
Yeah,
field.
I
So
mean,
Jarris,
when you're 2 for 14 on the year, and you've got a guy on November 13th scoring with 26 minutes, mind you, scoring 2 points, 0 for 10, 0 for 4 from the from the three, and then you proceed that on the night before with 22 minutes, 11 points on those free throws, 1 of 8 from the field, 0 of 5 from three. Then you proceed that with 12 points, 4 of 14, 3 of 6. He's putting up some shots in these 32 minutes that he's getting. And then you can flip over to the 15th, where he had 8 points, 2 for 9, 0 for 5. Just the guy can't hit a three, and yet he's taking 5 a game. I mean, it's just insane to me. Yeah, he's probably doing some other stuff defensively. It's what he's most known for. But, you'd like to see a little bit more out of what I believe was a first round pick out of Houston
yeah,
just a few years ago. So,
yeah, not a good look, especially the 0 for 10 game. I mean, 26 minutes 0 for 10. You're just running around. You're just getting your laps in, throwing up
sure
some
are.
shots. Harris Walker
Sure are.
is part of the that's the bad award. He is part of the Cardio King. So we have Tyus Jones. This team is a little bit more spread out within the guards and the bigs. We
Good for
almost have
them.
like a full position wise starting lineup. Tyus Jones was week 1 winner, Larry Nance Jr. So we have like our center. Sam Hauser was the next week for he just had I mean, an abysmal week a couple of weeks ago for the Boston Celtics, and now it's Jarris Walker at that power forward spot. So that's the 4 right now, and then we have our picks for this week. We'll get to it towards the end of the
Yeah,
show.
just good to recap and go over some things.
Yeah. So let's talk about what's going on in the NBA. It's starting to slow down. I feel like as far as just all the hype. At the beginning, those first 2 weeks were a lot of fun because NBA's back, NBC's doing NBA, and the stars were starring. It was Giannis was playing well, Wemby looked like a freak, Jokic was doing his thing. Now we're starting, and I hate saying this, it's looking more like what we've seen from the NBA. Superstars are getting hurt left and right. There's a lot of guys out right now. And you know how last time we had the podcast, I was seriously considering for the first time in my life shortening the NBA season.
Yeah.
Now, because of the injuries, it's furthering that point. I think we have to. And I think it is a combination of these teams are being very cautious with their players. And also, these players are just bigger, faster, stronger, and we're asking them to do a little bit too much, or the bodies are doing too much for the games that they're playing.
So then
It's
my
just
question is, what if instead of shortening the regular season, you shorten the first round of the playoffs? What if you take it from 7 games to 3? That way, those games actually matter because every time you get a 1 versus 8, or maybe even 5, whatever you want to do, to where it's a little bit more pressure now when you don't have everybody knows that the best team's going to win in 4 games, especially if you're seeded that differently. Um, so what if you make it a 5 game series or a best of 3, and then you take it to 5, and then you take it to 7 and 7
yeah,
to kind of take the load off.
I think that would be perfect. There's no need for us to have a 7 game series between the number 1 and the 8 seed.
Yeah,
It rarely. I know Miami did it in 2023 and they went to the finals, but it just rarely happens.
but they would have done it in 3 games. They would have done it in 5 games. Like they would have done it anyway. So like that
Yeah,
doesn't. They didn't need 7 games to do that. If anything, they almost gave up the first 3-0. I think that,
yeah.
or no, that was the
It's
Celtics. But either way,
the Celtics. Yeah, it's just been it's so tough. You go down literally every single team. The Pistons. Cunningham is playing, but there's been a couple games where he's kind of been in and out. Um, for New York, OG Ananobi's out right now. Joel Embiid, he's supposed to be on a minutes restriction, but like he doesn't play for like 4 games and then he'll play. And obviously they're saving him for the postseason. That's the whole goal there. Giannis is out. The Spurs have 2 of their best players out: Stephon Castle, Victor Wembanyama. So Jalen Williams isn't even playing for the Thunder, which it doesn't really matter
yeah.
because they're 17-1. So
LeBron James just came back, so he was out
LeBron
for
LeBron
a
just came
while.
back. I will say it was great seeing. I watched that entire game when LeBron came back, and it's just good because he looked totally fine. He looks like LeBron James. I know it was the Utah Jazz, and they have one of the worst defenses in the NBA, but it was really impressive how he owned that game by just his passing. He was not looking to score the entire game. He had 11 points. That didn't matter. He was going down the floor looking to get assists, and he did that. So he had 12 assists in that first game. So, but it was nice seeing him. You never know. 40, 41 years old. He comes into the season. You're just afraid. You're waiting for that moment to see if like, oh, it's time. And he looked really good. He looked good in that first game. So,
He did.
um, want to have some points on the East. There have been some shocking teams. Or go ahead.
Well, I just have you like these standings. There's so many just average teams in the East. Like there is.
Are they
I mean,
average?
yeah. I mean, your 5 seed is. I mean, if you, it's so early in the season, so it's kind of hard to gauge off that. But like, if you look at the top 5 in the West, you go Thunder, Lakers, Nuggets, Rockets, Spurs, and you go, okay, well those could beat anybody on the East Coast. I mean, Pistons, Raptors, Cavs, Heat, Hawks. Uh, and the Hawks are 11-7. The Pistons have
Well,
won
I
12
I mean I will
straight.
say, man, uh, Jalen Johnson is.
Oh, he's having a phenomenal year. He looks fantastic. Would like if he wasn't a first round pick, he would be one of my picks for Linsanity. Or like if nobody knew about him, but he was a first round pick. So like I think he's averaging like 25, 9-9 or 10-10, at least over this week. The the most improved player of the year is looking really pretty good. But the problem is there's so many players that are doing it. Jalen Duran
Duran,
for
yeah,
the Pistons has looked fantastic. He might win it. You've got Jalen Johnson. You've got Ryan Rollins, who probably is the most deserving. If I think about that award
yeah,
and what it means, like he is the guy. AJ Mitchell is also one of those. So like just just all around great talent. And finally some first round picks that are starting to pan out. But yeah, the East just looks like a clog jam of just average teams.
yeah.
Like the
Yeah, well, I guess it's trying to decide which of these teams are legit. I would say the Pistons definitely are because They got into the playoffs last year, and you had to wonder if they were going to improve. They obviously have. I would say out of all those teams, it's probably the Raptors that everybody has the most question marks about, and it's just because I've always seen them as the last handful of years in that purgatory spot where they have some really nice role players in that starting lineup, but they just don't have a full roster that's really going to get you over the hump. But when you think about it, right now in that starting five, every single one of those guys can go get you a bucket. Almost. Maybe not Jakob Pertl, but still, Jakob Pertl's a double double machine. But RJ Barrett is shooting the basketball really well. Emmanuel quickly has had some games for him where he's been lights out. Scotty Barnes is going to do his thing. I mean, when he's at the top of his game, he's an all star. He can be an all star.
Nobody
So
talks about him either. He's I don't want to say underrated because I think he's properly rated, but nobody really talks about him when they
I
talk
think
about some of the
he's not a flashy guy again.
yeah
Um,
that yeah, and he
he
plays in
kind of
Toronto.
just a 6'8" power forward. Just kind of does the job. Um, but Toronto's sitting there at 12-5. I would say is the biggest question mark.
Winners to
Um,
seven straight as of recording, so they've been on a nice little win streak here of late.
yeah. Cleveland's 12-6. No surprise. Miami, I would say is it's shocking, but at the same time they have Eric Spoelstra. In the Miami, Eric Spoelstra, he's the best coach in the NBA. I fully believe that. The new coach of the Olympic team in 2028. We also, too, during this podcast, have to talk about the new rules for the All Star game. And I got bored one night, and I actually came up with what right now, if the All Star game was tomorrow, what the All Star teams would look like. I kind of want to get your thoughts on what I have. Spoiler alert, I would be stunned if the world team is beat All Star weekend. I
So
think it's just impossible.
explain it to everybody as if they're 5 years old, just so they have a grasp on it.
Okay, so how the All Star weekend is going to happen? There's going to be three teams, all of 8 players. Now, because the majority of players in the NBA are from America, they have decided to make two teams of 8 of all players from the United States. And that third team of 8 players is going to be everybody else not from the United States. It's going to be Team World. So they basically are going to have 4 quarters of basketball. The first three is going to be a round robin tournament. So if I'm on the world team, I'm going to play USA team, each USA team. And then the best two teams out of those three, they determine it by points scored and points allowed and all that stuff. The best two teams out of those three, they play the fourth quarter, and whoever wins the fourth quarter wins All Star Weekend. Now, the idea of this, ID is not a word. It is, but wrong one. The idea of this obviously comes from what happened All Star Weekend in the NHL this past year. Because I'm forgetting what they called it. It was like the Frozen Four or something like that, where
Awesome.
they took away the All Star game entirely and basically did a mini Olympics. And it was probably the most watched hockey game, at least the USA Canada, probably the most watched hockey game this century, uh, probably. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of people were watching it. People that don't follow hockey, and I'm one of them. I don't sit there and watch NHL. I wish I could, but I just don't because I would rather watch college basketball or the NBA. So I really like hockey, but I'm just not going to pick it over basketball. So that's the reason why the All Star games hasn't been getting as good of ratings as it has in years past. They're trying to switch it up, so they're trying to do like a USA versus world kind of thing. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it.
Now I wish they so I like changing the format because obviously last year did not work, and we know that. I am not a fan of having the best two teams play one quarter. I kind of can't stand it. if you're gonna do USA versus World, just do USA versus World. Quit splitting the teams up, and just put the 12 best USA players versus the 12 best world players. Because now that you have enough world players, I mean, think about that team. By the way, think about the world team. You've got Shea, Luca, Giannis, Jokic, Wemby. That could be your starting five right there. And I don't even know, like that's you want to talk about positionless basketball.
Yeah.
That
Well,
is about as positionless as you can
well, I
get.
tell you what, I wrote these up. I just kind of wrote them out. Do you want to hear them? Do you want to just
Yeah.
get to them? Okay, so I made three teams, and I tried with the USA team. I tried to evenly disperse the centers and the point guards.
Okay.
But even with these two teams, I'm trying to look at the matchups against the world, and I'm like,
No
there's just
way.
no way. So, like I said, the the starting five for that world team: Shea, Jokic, Giannis, Wemby, Luca. That's your
So I killed
five.
it. Yeah.
And then the three coming off the bench, Josh Giddey has to be in there. From Australia, he's averaging pretty much a triple double. Sagoon with the
Yeah.
year that he's had for Houston. And then the last one is Denny for Portland. I
Good
think
on the
he's had
kid.
a pretty solid year. So
Good on the kid.
that's the A for the world. I mean, having Giddy, Sagoon, and
Now, who would be that first person off on that if you,
you know
that
who it
so-called
was?
list?
I think it's one of the guys, Jamal Murray.
Oh yeah.
And Jamal's averaging 25 a game, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. I mean, he's had a solid year, and I was just thinking like if Denver is the well, I don't know about the best record in the Western Conference, but if they're like the number two team in the NBA, I feel like Jamal would seriously be considered, but his numbers are just not as good as Denny and those other two guys. So he was pretty much like my first guy out um when I was thinking of some guys. So,
Trying to
but
think. Yeah.
my two USA teams, this is my first one: Kevin Durant, Jalen Brunson, Chet Holmgren, Anthony Edwards, Cade Cunningham. That's a starting five right there. So the only problem with these teams is the size factor because there's going to be a mismatch somewhere on the floor. Because like if that was the team that went up against the world, Chet would be on like Wemby. Durant could guard Giannis, but then either Brunson, Edwards, or Cade Cunningham has to guard Nikola Jokic. So, and that's the thing is if you give it to Jokic and he's got a guard on him, he's going to back him down. Double team comes. You have the best passer in the NBA with Giannis.
That's if we're playing normal basketball. Like if this becomes an all-star event
Well,
where
I would hope these guys take it seriously like that.
that would be the hope.
And
But
I think they would because I would assume that if I was from, especially what happened in this past Olympics, if they're going to get an opportunity to beat the USA and show that the best players do not come from America, I would take it seriously if I were these guys. So,
I just think they missed out on the NBA. That is of this is another chance to kind of recreate what you just had in the Olympics last year. Of put Durant. I don't know if LeBron will be eligible for All Star, but put Durant, LeBron, Steph, and all these guys again on a team, and then put them against the world and not just France, and then show the discrepancy of how long before we actually just start divvying these countries
yeah,
up or areas of regions to make it somewhat because the
yeah.
world's caught up. It's
Oh, yeah.
individual countries who have it. So, and they're right there. So, it could be interesting, but I hope they take it seriously enough to where it becomes a
Yeah.
real event and not, you just got to call it something different. If you call it the NBA All-Star Weekend, they're not going to they don't care. But if you call it the mini Olympics or you got to figure out something better than that. But to
Yeah,
give it that,
and that's what the mindset I'm assuming is they are hoping that these players do take it a little bit more personal because they are in a way playing for their country. Um, so the other team I had real quick has got Steph, Donovan Mitchell, Cat, Devin Booker, Evan Mobley. That's a starting five. Um, so again, it's a smaller team. Like, and then coming off the bench, you have Tyrese Maxey. I actually put Aaron Gordon in there, and then Julius Randle. So I guess what you could do is Steph and Devin Booker as the two guards, and then you would have to start Aaron Gordon or Julius Randle to go up against one of the bigs. So yeah, I mean, Aaron Gordon, you could have him against Jokic if anybody knows how to guard him. I guess it would be his teammate.
It's just
Um,
unfair that you got 7'4" Wemby, 6'11" Jokic, 6'11" Giannis, and you've got to try to find that size on the other side without,
yeah,
you know, starting
yeah,
three traditional bigs.
yeah. The problem is there are going to be some snubs from the world team because there are a lot of really good players that come from the world, and I know a lot of most of the players come from America. But you know what? There's snubs. There's snubs every year. There's snubs every year. Um,
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I'm trying to think of more teams, like, or more guys from the world that would be. That I feel like we're missing somebody big, and I don't know why I can't think of who it is.
well, let's go. I mean, I feel like Jamal Murray was the first guy that I thought of. I mean, Wagner from Orlando is is a possibility.
Yeah.
I feel like he would definitely be in that discussion right now with the way. I mean, your Orlando Magic are playing a lot better. But the weird part is Paulo Banchero has been hurt, so they've been playing a better basketball with Paulo out.
Well, it's shocking what happens when you give the ball up and get off of it. But yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe
I don't
that's
think we
just what
are.
it
I don't
is.
think we are missing. I'm
No,
going
no, I
down the
don't think we
list.
are. It's just crazy how much things have changed recently as far as how many players we're getting overseas every single year to just fly out of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah. It is crazy. Anyways, back to the NBA talk. But I honestly, I'm excited to watch the All Star weekend if that's what it's going to be. I actually will sit down and be invested in it this year. I think there is a chance that these guys take it seriously. Um, I really do because everybody from the world wants to beat America, and America players still want to show that they're the top dog. So I think there's a little bit of a little bit of a fight there. So,
Yeah.
but anyways, really just overall looking at the standings in the NBA, Detroit number one, Toronto two. We mentioned those top five. New York sitting there at 9-6 in the sixth spot. Chicago really fell off after that hot start. They're still at 9-7. Philadelphia too. They got off to a really good start. Orlando, I mentioned, has been playing better. Um, the team that is just really disappointing me, Ryan, is those Charlotte Hornets.
Mm.
I had a lot of high hopes for them, and they're sitting there at 4-13, and I just look at that roster, and I just don't believe they're a 4-13 team. Now, defensively, they cannot stop you and me. It feels like if we were to go 2-on-5, but it's frustrating because right now they probably have the rookie of the year
Yeah.
and Connor Knippel. He's been outstanding. And you thought that, or obviously I thought, you thought that LaMelo Ball was going to take another jump. Just coming into the season, I thought this team, they had some veterans coming off the bench like Colin Sexton. It just looked like this was a team that was going to seriously contend for that 7-8 spot, and sitting there at 4-13, man, it's just brutal.
Well, and you got to remember the start of the year, Brandon Miller went out and he just got his first game back and he looked great. So you're hoping to have that second, third option, depending on what you think Con Knipple is now, um, back in your lineup. And if Con Knipple is your third option, and as of right now, that is a fantastic way to go about things offensively. Now, you mentioned the defensive aspect, and that's when you're running the issue of having three guys like Brandon Miller, Concanipple, LaMelo Ball as your 1, 2, and 3, and then go, which one of those guards is going to stop Tyrese Maxey or Steph Curry or Jalen Brunson or any of these dudes in the league that can go get their own. That's the run. That's the problem you're going to run into. But you're right; they should offensively be keeping up with literally anybody. I do
Yeah,
think.
and
I mean, you got the rookie of the year pretty much locked up. If you could just keep this up all year, Concanible's been playing out of his mind. There have been good rookies this year. I mean, Derek Queen is finally starting to put together
yeah,
some games. VJ Edgecombe is still doing all right. Obviously, Cooper Flag, number one player in this draft. But if you're looking at it, I mean,
nobody's looked this
it's
smooth. Nobody.
no, it's just the transition of the NBA has been easy for Mr. Knipple. So you like to see that. You've got some hope there. Maybe you're just a year early, but something's got to give at some point. So we just got to figure out what that
Yeah,
is.
the shooting percentages though for LaMelo are still 39% from the field, 29% from three. That's just it's just not going
Yeah,
to cut it, and it means more for LaMelo because he's somebody who likes to shoot the basketball. He's going to get 25 shots up a night. I wish LaMelo would turn into this guy who's more of a true point guard first because he can see the floor well. His assist numbers he's averaging 9 assists per game this year. So I wish he would just was more of a true point guard and didn't worry so much about putting up those shots. And that's just not what
yeah.
he's been right now.
I mean, you can't shoot 28% from three as a point guard. Now, if I'm looking at that and I go, well, if you're Brandon Miller, who's known to be able to shoot, you can't shoot 19%. Now, he's only had, I don't even know, 3 games this year. He's averaging 16 points in those 3 games. Your leading scorer is Miles Bridges, out of all people. Who would have thunk that? They're getting decent minutes out of Ryan Kalkbrenner, another rookie. So the big man they've got to figure out because you don't want your second round pick being the guy, even though he is playing well. You just don't have anything outside of that as far as any big. So maybe that's something they can look for in the offseason to try to really solidify this
Yeah,
team, maybe get you a defensive anchor to kind of help out that side of things. Now you did have Mark Williams and you traded him away. So you kind of look at that and go,
I
did you
know.
really was that a good decision in the long run for the Suns? Maybe it is. If he's not as healthy as what the Suns think he is, but it's a weird spot when you have Miles Bridges as your leading scorer, average, and he's also getting 35 minutes a night. And not that he's not shooting poorly, but it's not too efficient.
Yeah,
Con Knippel's almost 50, 40, 90, and Miles Bridges is 41%, 34 from three, but he's putting up almost 9 threes a game. So it's just a shot selection slash defense problem for the Hornets. Shocking, I
yeah,
know.
I know. It's just I just look at this roster and they should not be 4-13. It's
Yeah,
probably a little bit of frustration because I had again high hopes for them.
yeah. We all
Um,
have that one team. I mean,
we all have the one team.
you look at
Me
the
for
Mavericks on
multiple
the other
Pelicans.
side.
I like the Pelicans,
Yeah, but I had the Mavericks and I had the Magic winning the or going to the championship, and they're in the 9 seed right now. So a lot of
but they're
basketball
looking
left though.
up. They're trending up. If the Pelicans won a game, then I would be like, okay, maybe they have a chance. But
Yeah.
that's two and
Well, I also
fifteen
had
at
the
the bottom.
Pacers making the play-in on my side, so don't think
Okay,
that's going to happen.
that's brutal,
Um, Speaking of which, the
man.
bad teams have been bad this
There,
year,
I was just about to say that there are some awful teams, awful
and you would
teams.
think that would mean that we would see like a lot of, 16-2s
Well, we do.
or
I mean, we do
15,
have a 17-1, 12-2, 12-4s.
17-1, but they have played almost every bad team that there is. Not taking anything away from them. I said at the beginning of the season they're going to go for the record. Now, as we've seen before, is the record worth not going back to back for? In the Warriors' case, I guess it was. They obviously thought they were going to. Maybe the Thunder think they can, but um, yeah, it's 17-1 is a crazy start. I don't know with 3 teams. Let's see, one, two, three, four, five on the West, and one, two, three, four, 9 teams total not having 5 wins. and we're 17 games in the season or whatever we are. It is. You would think there'd be a lot more teams at the top with fewer losses, but it's just that logjam in the East of everybody being 9-6, 9-7, 10-8, kind of evens
Yeah,
it out.
it's just disgusting. Uh,
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
not like I mean, you have the Pacers and the Wizards. There's a legitimate shot we might have two teams not win over 15 games this year.
Mm,
I would like to know last time that had happened. Moving on, a little talk about the West. OKC is 17-1. If they match the Bulls record or the Warriors or somehow beat that record, I don't care what anybody else does in the league. Shea is the MVP. If you have a
yeah.
team that is that good and they break that kind of record, you have to give it to the best player.
I mean, the
Like
guy is sitting out fourth quarters like Steph Curry did back in 2016. I mean, what is unprecedented the resemblance of this team to that 2016 Warriors team, and not talking about play style, but just more the fact that they are just
they're
destroying
dominant.
teams to where Shea's only having to play 20 something minutes a night. So if you can do that all year, you are set for the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah. I know that. Like, I mean, at week to week, there's a lot of MVP conversation. There's a lot of guys that've been playing well, but on a 17-1 team, who's even the one lost to? I don't even. Can
I
you
don't
even
know. They played
remember who the
overtime games for 3 games in a row, and I think they won all three
so
to
their
start the
one loss
season.
is probably an overtime loss off the top of our head. So yeah, if I were to pick an MVP right now, it would be Shea going back to back easily. That's just how good that team is.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
it's pretty easy. I do want to throw out one more thing. Oh, the Thunder, they lost to the Blazers by 2 points on November 5th. Shout out to the Blazers.
Blazers. Wow,
Little,
Blazers have fallen off a little bit. They had a decent start to the year. They dropped to 7-10 though. Rest of the way in the West, Lakers 12-4, Denver 12-4. We mentioned it earlier that top five in the Western Conference. Houston at 10-4, Spurs at 11-5. The team that I actually really wanted to talk about was the Phoenix Suns because I thought they were just going to be atrocious this year. They gave up Kevin Durant. They bring in Dylan Brooks, but they're 11-6. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league, and Devin Booker is playing as good as anybody
Dylan
right
Brooks has
now.
been playing out of his mind too. I don't know if you've seen his stats lately, but
Yeah.
um,
I mean, with Dylan Brooks, I know everybody, and rightfully so. I've always been a Dylan Brooks lover because of just me loving the Ducks. But Dylan Brooks is always, most of the time, he's going to shoot the ball a lot. The field goal percentage is not going to be down. He's going to have that occasional game, though, every other game where he'll drop like 25 points on like 8 to 18 shooting, and you'll be like, oh, okay, pretty decent night. But he's a great defensive player. So that probably, he sets the tone and probably why a good reason why the Suns are a top uh, 10 defense in the NBA right now. But yeah, Dylan Brooks is averaging career high 21 points right now.
yeah,
34% from three, 46% from the field. So yeah, it's a lot of people don't like him because he's a troll. He just is. Dylan the Villain is his nickname listed on Basketball Reference for those who are
of course,
interested.
yeah.
So, but yeah, the Phoenix Suns, I would say, have been the most shocking team, maybe in the NBA or Western Conference, definitely right now.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I did like their offseason moves. Obviously, they were going to lose Kevin Durant no matter what, so it's kind of hard to replace that. But what they did with what they had, I thought was very good to try to recoup some of the mistakes they've made over the past few years. Now, the the you're right about Devin Booker. He's playing out of his mind. The Kentucky guards are honestly playing out of their mind. I don't know if you've seen Tyrese Maxey's stats
Is that
lately,
right?
but he's averaging 33 for the year, which is already insane because I don't think anybody's done that since either Shea or Kobe.
He's an all star.
He's shooting 47, 41% from three. 4.5 rebounds, 8 assists, 1.5 steals. I mean, he's just absolutely lighting the world on fire. He put up 54 against the Bucks the other night with 9 assists. Just absolutely carrying the 76ers team without Joel Embiid most nights. They just got Paul George back. Jared McCain, I'm pretty sure he's playing in his like third or fourth game here soon. So he's pretty much been a one-man show, and he is lights out. Now the shooting percentages when you're the only guy on the team, they can take a hit, but it's still putting up 40% clip from three while being the guy is I think worth mentioning at least.
He's awesome. And he was good at Kentucky, but I never thought
Mm.
he would be this good.
Because you didn't get
Never.
to see the tournament. So like that was the year that COVID happened. The season didn't get to finish out. You didn't really get a full gauge on because that's when everybody really starts to watch. I mean, he was good throughout the year, obviously, and he was number I want to say he was just top 20 pick, but not top 10. So nobody else really saw it either. He is he has blossomed into a
Yeah.
young star in this league.
Yeah. Last thing on Phoenix, I do want to give a shout out to somebody who's probably should be an honorable mention for Linsanity in those awards, but Colin Gillespie is. I mean, he's looking like his Villanova days. Ever since he's been drafted, he's just kind of been a G League guy, two-way player, but he's had a outstanding role. I, I could make the argument. A lot of people could make the argument. He's the sixth man for this Phoenix team. He plays 25 minutes a night off the bench, and he's averaging 11 points per game, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. I mean, 11, 4, and 5 coming off the bench, 40% from three. So Colin Gillespie has found an excellent role coming off the bench for Phoenix.
I mean, they're shooting well from three. They've got Royce O'Neal shooting 40% from three, 43 actually. They've got Grayson Allen shooting 45 almost. You've got now Jalen Green's only played in 3 games, but he was shooting or 2 games. He was shooting 40 something percent. If Jalen Green comes back and they're everything that they want him to be, which is a good basketball player, not great, little left to be desired, is what I would say. But he's still a solid NBA player. I mean, that's a fun team. A lot of guards, which is what we mentioned in the beginning of the year, but it could get interesting, especially when you got a team that shoots like this. It's very impressive
Yeah.
for that team, who we thought would be at the bottom of the league.
100%. Is there anything else you want to mention on the NBA side before we move to college?
The only should we do the picks now first, or should we wait till the end?
Yeah, we can do it. We can do the picks.
Because we were mentioning them, and so we might as well.
Yeah, yeah. Let's do the picks.
Which one you want
So
first? You want the Insanity, or you want the other one?
let's go with Linsanity first. I'll tell you my Linsanity, and then you can give me your Cardio King, and we'll go back and forth. But
Okay.
my Linsanity, both of mine up for debate this week. I'm not as sure as I was like with Jenkins and AJ Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this one is probably a little bit debatable because my pick this week was actually a huge name in college basketball. That's why I'm debatable if you know where I'm getting at. But
Okay.
he kind of he kind of came out of nowhere, really wasn't playing at all to begin the regular season, and he had a couple big games, especially against your Golden State Warriors. That is Caleb Love of
Yeah.
the Portland Trailblazers. Going over the week, he started it in a loss against the Suns, where, I mean, this guy has been playing, 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes off the bench every night. He hasn't even had a double digit scoring game coming into this week. He dropped 17 on 7 of 14 from the field with 7 rebounds against the Suns. So maybe that's just one game, but then on Friday against Golden State, 26.7 rebounds, 5 assists, knocked down
And the
six
dagger.
threes. And he had the dagger. Like pretty much won that game for Portland. So now why I say that it's up for debate is because he had a couple of games in there where the shooting percentage was really bad. I mean, against the Bulls, he went 1 of 12 from the field. But Caleb Love, obviously big name at North Carolina and Arizona. national champion at North Carolina as well. So big name in college, but he wasn't a big draft pick coming into this year and trying to fight for minutes during the preseason. And he's finally getting them, and he's kind of balling out off the bench for Portland. So he's my insanity pick of this week.
Okay. So the way that I feel like the way we should do this is like for example, my guy for this week only played 3 games during the week, while Caleb Love played 4. So if you want to take your 3 best games of Caleb Love and compare them to mine, we can do that just to make it a little bit more apples to apples. That way, we're not going off the full week. But I think sometimes we overthink the room with this, and it's just got to be reminded to us about what this award really is, and that
You're saying
is
I'm doing my job wrong?
I would never say such things. All I'm saying is you don't want to overthink it, because the award is supposed to be at the beginning of the year. We didn't know this name. They've come out of nowhere, and now they're playing some of the best basketball you've ever seen. And Ryan Rollins did it again this week. And I mean, the guy, it's him and AJ Mitchell going for this. But I mean, listen to these stats for these 3 games that he put up. 24 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists against the Cleveland Cavaliers on November 17th. Then we went to the 76ers, where he put up 32 points, 6 rebounds, 14 assists against Tyrese Maxey and them boys. And then against the Pistons 2 nights ago, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. The guy averaged during that time 27 points, 9 assists, and 5 rebounds, while shooting 45% and then 38% from 3, 39% from 3. So sometimes you just got to look at it and go, that's a guy we didn't think about anything of at the beginning of the year, and he's averaging 27 during a week where it looks like nothing. We're so
Listen,
used to it.
I'm down with it. I think it's about time that we get a 2-time award winner in here. And the reason why I said that, I was really like, the Caleb Love thing is, if you were
It
to
was a
tell
solid
me,
pick.
well, if you were to tell me, like, the reason I say that is Caleb Love, I'm pretty sure, was second round pick. I don't even think or if he did go first round, it was late. I want to
I
say
don't think he
so.
did.
The reason why I say Caleb Love, he's getting no playing time, and then they put him in, and he starts getting that confidence. Here's why I said it was debatable. If you were to tell me at the beginning of the season, there would be a game where Caleb Love comes out, gets 26 points, I would be like, yeah, I mean, Caleb Love is a professional scorer. He showed that off in college. I don't care that he went late first round or second round. Like, you get him into a game, I'm not surprised he'll have, a good week. But I didn't know. Unfortunately, I understand this is a basketball podcast. I didn't know Ryan Rollins at the beginning of the year. If you were to tell me that Ryan Rollins was going to drop a 32, 6, and 14 game for the Milwaukee Bucks, I would say, you know what I would say? I would say that reminds me of a guy who attended Harvard University, sat the bench for the New York Knicks, and shocked the world in the 2012 season, I want to say. 2012 season. So let's go with it. Ryan Rollins, two-time award winner.
2-time award winner. And can you name the college he went to with being a 2-time award winner without looking it up, Mr. Hargrove? Three,
Yes,
two,
it's
one.
Asona Community College out of Texas. They're the Wranglers.
Yeah, the Wranglers. That'd be a Toledo product for you, sir.
Toledo's sneaky, man. They got some dudes
Sneaky.
that
And if
come
you
out of
had to guess
Toledo.
where he was drafted, in like, the which pick, what would you say?
52.
Close, 44.
44. Okay. I thought I remember
This is
seeing a
back in
52.
2022, so he's put in 3 years of work with the G League for the Warriors, and then pretty much the G League Wizards team, which is just a Wizards team.
Yeah, that's my fault. I thought I saw an Asona and 52 pick overall when I was looking up his bio. So,
No, you're good. I mean, listen, it happens to the best of us.
all right. Who we got? Who we got for Cardio King?
I got a fairly decent one here that I'm not happy about it, but I will take pride in this pick. and that is a fan favorite for you, Mr. Cody Williams. Put up some stinkers this past week, and I just want to go over them. Nothing against the kid, but the guy forgot how to play basketball this past week with some stats that I'd like to read off to you, if I may. He is playing as. Oh no, he played 3 minutes last night because they finally benched his ass. Okay, so we're going from the. Let's go from the 16th. 19 minutes, 0 points, 0 for 4 from the field, 0 for 2 from three. His only stats were 2 rebounds. And then he throws up November 18th against the Lakers, 21 minutes, 4 points, 2 for 5, 0 for 3, 0-0-1-1. And then he goes 20 minutes, another 0 points, 0 for 4, 0 for 3, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Good for him. And if you want to know what that averages out to in a week is, and I'll tell you, about 15 minutes played per game. I'd say that's pretty good for bench
That's
minutes.
pretty good.
He's averaged 1.3 points per game with less than a steal, less than a assist, less than a block, less than a rebound, if I got that correct. Yes, I did. And some would say some of the worst shooting percentages you'll ever see. That's 0% from three for those 3 games. Wow. 18% from the field, which, I didn't do my due diligence and look up the shots that he was taking from the 2 point range. So I'm just going to assume that they're not layups, but it's still not what you want to see out of a former first round pick from the Colorado University.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because what I have written here is Cody Williams, unfortunately, and the reason why is because, like you said, I'm invested in Cody Williams. I loved him at Colorado. I thought when Utah got him 10th pick, he was going to be a dude. And when I was looking at box scores on last night, I saw that he only played 3 minutes. So I was like, "Oh, that's odd." So I'm like, "Why are they not playing him?" He's top 10 pick. So I go to the box score and I figure I found out why. So I had to make the hard decision. I was like, "Man, Ryan's gonna get a kick out of this because it's gonna come back." And there we go. Yeah. So Cody Williams, we both came up. Great minds think alike. And Cody Williams, we need
Yeah.
a
Clap it up. I mean,
boo.
put it in the background. We need. We'll fix that in post. In case you don't know, Basketball Reference gives everybody a game score, which is just like, some people could look at like points per game and just base these awards off of that and go, oh, he shot bad, whatever. But some people give out, like Basketball Reference, a game score. So you may not be the highest scoring person that week, but you have the highest game score. For example, a guy like Nikola Jokic averaged 35.5 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. He got a game score average over those 4 games of 32 points. And you go, well, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it doesn't, but that's just a gauge to tell you where we're at. Meanwhile, a guy like Tyrese Maxey, Steph Curry both averaged 36 points, but the impact on the game overall gave them respectively 28 and 26 of game score. Now you go, why do you bring that up? Well, I bring that up because Cody Williams had a game score of, let me double check. Oh, wait, yeah, negative -0.5, which in layman's terms means he stuck so bad that it'd be better if he was off the team to open up a roster spot this week for the Utah Jazz, who are not a good basketball team, mind you.
He's
So
hurting the team.
just out of, some would
He's
say,
hurting the team.
and out of the people that played 3 games or more, everybody else on that list that's anywhere near the bottom of that game score stat that I threw out there had less than 5 minutes a game. So those people at least have an excuse of I didn't get much run until the end of the game and it didn't really matter. Cody Williams is playing in the second quarter and the third quarter. So, he's getting good run out there, just not making anything out of it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well
There you
deserving.
have it.
Well
Negative
deserving.
player. All right. Well, we have now a full starting lineup for the Cardio King So Tyus Jones at
Good.
point guard, Cody Williams at the shooting guard position, Sam Hauser at small forward. You can put Jarris Walker at the four, and then Larry Nance Jr. at center. Do you think that starting lineup beats the Washington Wizards?
Good question. It depends on which week. Um, like a lot of these guys have had bounce back weeks, so maybe we see Cody Williams next week put up, I don't know, 8 points a game and really bounce back, which is saying something.
Yeah, that would be saying
So
something.
it depends on
Yeah.
the week, but I'd
Well, there you
say
go.
no out of respect to CJ McCollum and the boys.
Yeah, yeah. There you go.
Go
Some
Zards.
NBA talk. Let's move on. College basketball. We'll keep this one kind of short and get us out of here. Uh, just overall thoughts on what you're seeing from college basketball. I know we had the Champions
Well,
Classic recently, and then we're starting to get into some big games with Thanksgiving coming up.
yeah, and I mean, we talked about it how great the slate has been for college basketball. I mean, think about the games that you've seen between, Arizona, UConn. I watched Illinois versus Alabama, and what a game that was. Illinois looks legit. Um, Stojakovic might be the most controlled basketball player in college, and that's saying something. So Illinois looks good, and if they can figure it out in tournament time, same with Arizona, it could get real fun this March. But there's been some disappointing teams. There's been the Blue Bloods that have kind of stuck out, whether that be Duke and North Carolina, and a lot of those guys that have had their top prospects work out and play well. Kentucky, obviously, not looking the greatest so far, but a lot of injuries. So you're hoping that's the reason. But it's just a great overall atmosphere as far as every week there is a top 10 matchup, and it's usually not fluke. Like some of those top 10 matchups you used to see, you're like, oh, well, this team's going to win by 15 because they're really that much better. The discrepancy between 1 and 10 is not what it used to be. So the parity in the league gets a lot better. The matchups every week get a lot better, and we're slated for another a great week this week. So I'm excited.
Yeah, two things come to mind for me. One, when I was watching the Champions Classic, is I think Kansas is going to be slept on this year, and I don't think that's good for college basketball because when Bill Self has a very talented team, the Kansas Jayhawks go far in the tournament. So they against Duke, like they had some runs in that game, and the score did I didn't think showed the full capacity of what we really saw. Like Kansas is big, man. They got two
Yeah.
bigs that are 6'11", 7 foot. Even their guards had some size, and they were without maybe the number one pick in the draft. I don't know. DeBonsta, man, that game that he pulled off against UConn was the best individual performance that we've seen so far because BYU
In the
looked
Garden.
in the Garden. BYU looked dead because AJ had an awful start to that game. Like looked like the moment was too big for him. And then man, he saw a couple shots go down in that second half, and he did whatever he wanted to against a very good UConn defense. So, but Kansas was without their best player, and they're like barely ranked into the top 25. And I'm just watching that game and I'm like, I think Kansas is going to give some teams some fits this year. We might not want to sleep on them. Like if Kansas is sitting there at the end of the year like a 6 seed for some reason, I don't know. I that was kind of my first thought or biggest thought watching the Champions Classic. Another one, and it kind of goes back to my NBA picks. We mentioned our Final Four. I said I just love St. John's. They worry me. They actually do. They've had now two losses of the two top 25 teams that they played. They've been close games. They were Alabama and Iowa State, the one that I just watched, and they worry me as far as guys who can really create their shots for their guards. They rely on their two bigs. Hopkins is one of them. And when those guys are not doing anything, their offense is really stale. And I just think in a game that when it's not so predicated on getting those inside looks for your bigs and it's about the jump shots and the 3-point shooting. I just wonder how far that can take you. I mean, they have guys who can hit 3 pointers, but I don't know. St. John's is it's so early in the season, and they actually have been scoring the ball a ton, but they do worry me a little bit, and they were one of my Final Four picks, so that's one of my two biggest getaways right now in college ball.
Well, it's a good transition because one of my Final Four picks was the University of Houston, who snuck out a win in OT today versus Syracuse, who is not known anymore since the Jim Boeheim days to be a top 25 team. So when you have the number 3 team in the nation struggle in overtime against a team like that, it does worry you a little bit, especially knowing Houston's pedigree and the returning starters they've got back. They don't really have an excuse this year as to why they can't return to the national championship. That is a worry. But when you just look across the slate, dude, like Louisville is back to being good at basketball. They beat Kentucky, and that wasn't the reason. They're good. They're just good. They're the number 6 team in the nation. They've got 2 guards that are fantastic, Michael Brown and Ryan Conwell, not to mention serviceable enough bigs to get done in college basketball, because we know guards win in March. That's the precedent. I don't know. There's just, I said it earlier, there's good games every single day this week. I mean, Gonzaga versus Alabama going on as we speak, as we record, in about an hour. So that game will be over by the time this releases. So we'll see about that. Any previews on that before that game tips off right in front of us?
I
Bama
mean,
at
the
home
Zags,
versus number 12 Gonzaga.
Zags, they look hot. They're back. They might be back. They've had a couple years
Because
where
the
they've just
Bama,
kind of been I don't know, just not Gonzaga.
I mean, they do look good. Bama just looks they've lost a few games to, or a game to a really good opponent. They've played a hell of a schedule so far this year.
Yeah.
They obviously stuck out with North Dakota, who some would say is the best whatever conference team they're in. Then they had to go play St. John's, where they put up 103 points. Then they played Purdue right after that. They did lose by 7 to number 1 Purdue. And then they went to go play Illinois, beat them by 4 on the road. And now they're playing 12 Gonzaga. You've got 4 games in a row, all top 15 teams. That is an insane schedule in the non-conference. Not to mention you've got Arizona coming up in about 2 weeks. Number 2 Arizona, that is. So
Yeah,
they just
everybody
got a brutal
loves
schedule
it's
before you
it's a
get to the
dangerous
SEC.
game. It is a dangerous game, but man, when you listen to these analysts and everybody talk college ball right now, Arizona is is the
Mm,
team.
I'm gonna
Um,
fall again. I'm
we're
gonna
gonna
fall
do it.
again.
They'll lose second round. They will. It's
They're gonna finish the year as a 2 seed, and I'm gonna go. I can see them making a Final Four, or at least
yeah.
the Elite Eight run, and that round of 32 is just gonna come up and grab them by the ass. I
It's a
just
big year
don't
to be
get it.
Princeton. It's a big year. A little 15 seed come in there. Big year to be a Princeton fan.
Oh,
I want to say
yeah,
Princeton was the team that
yeah.
beat them with Matherin. Is that right? Or I want to say
It's a good
Princeton
question.
had.
I wish I could tell you.
I want to forget about that year. Anyways, any final thoughts? Any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Yeah. Yeah. Tomorrow, Tennessee, Houston. Is Tennessee legit? Nate Met, can you play against a defense like Houston? I don't think so, but Houston scared me with Syracuse today, so we'll see. Michigan and Auburn. Is Auburn good without Bruce Pearl? We shall see. Western Kentucky, Vanderbilt. People aren't talking about Vanderbilt. I talked about it before the season started. I think they're a top 25 team. They're finally ranked 24th. Can they move into the top 15 before the year's over? We shall see. UNC Michigan on Thursday. That is the game you're talking about with Thanksgiving, along with Arkansas Duke. Just great games while you're eating some turkey, lounging around, taking a nap. You get a 4:30 game, you eat dinner, you take a nap, you wake up, halftime, Duke, Arkansas, you see where that's at to take you into the night, not to mention NFL football's going on that day.
Yeah,
What a beautiful day.
yeah. I was about to say, just in case
Friday,
the football games suck. There you go. You have
yeah, you got a
college
backup
ball.
plan. Imagine having a backup plan when the Cowboys get their shit kicked in. Friday, Black Friday. Not to mention you've got the Philadelphia Eagles playing on Black Friday. You also got UConn versus Illinois. I think the best matchup all week. How does UConn take over that offense? It is a loaded slate
Peace.
this week, and I am all here for it.
Peace week.
All here for it.
Peace week. All right. Thanks for joining us.
For
Have
now,
a
I'm done.
great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you Monday. It'll be Monday. Heck with work. We'll see you Monday. So
It will.
yeah, everybody have a good night.
Absolutely.
See y'all.